Hey guys, my name is Shaaanelle with the 3 A's here on YouTube, 1A in real life, and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be attempting to show you guys how to cornrow on yourself. So how to braid on your head by yourself. I also will be giving a little bit of a mini tutorial on feeding in the hair and how I do that process. It's very simple, so that's why I say it's like a mini tutorial, but this video is mainly on like how to braid yourself onto your own head. Okay, so hopefully, like I said, everything is helpful. If it is, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel so you can see all of my other tutorials that I got for the girls, and see what we're doing in the future, and I'll see you guys at the end. Okay, so today I'm going to teach you guys how to do some braids on yourself, like cornrow type braids. I'm going to do straight backs, and so I figured that this would be a good video to kind of show you guys how to actually braid on yourself. I'm going to probably do 8 braids, 4 on this side and 4 on this side. I'm about to take off my bonnet, but I'm gonna look crazy, okay, because I have my hair in 4 plaits right now and they ain't laying. Okay, so but I'm gonna do probably 4 on this side and 4 on this side, and yeah, we're just gonna get into it and just kind of show you guys how to braid on yourself. So first things first, if you watched any of my other braiding videos, you already know I highly suggest that you stretch your hair by either blow drying it or some other form of stretching, however you choose to do it, but I highly suggest that you stretch your hair before trying to go in and braid it. It's gonna make the braiding process a lot easier for you. You're gonna have a lot less tangling and stuff like that. So yes, if you can, please blow dry your hair or straighten it as best as you can, if you don't want to use a blow dryer. Now, my hair has been in these braids. Today is Monday. I've had my hair in these braids, I think, all weekend. But my hair is moisturized. I did moisturize my hair pretty good, moisturize and seal it pretty good before I blow dried it, so it is moisturized and I don't have to worry about that. But if your hair is not moisturized, I suggest that you use a moisturizer that is not going to make your hair revert. So a moisturizing hair oil, like something that's really good that you've used before, where it's not just sitting on top of your hair but it's actually making it softer and moisturizing it. Or you can use a moisturizer if you're good with it. So if you watched my my last braiding video where I did the knotless box braids all over, I did use a moisturizer in there, and the moisturizer was one that didn't really have a high water content, and it's more like on the buttery side. You would want to use something like that so that your hair doesn't revert while you're braiding. And then yeah, for parting, you can use a rat tail comb. Like I said in my last video, I lost my rat tail comb. I don't know where it's at, so I'm just gonna use a regular comb just like this to part my hair, because I lost my rat tail comb. Like, I have no idea where she is. Because I'm doing 4 braids, I know that I can part right about here on myself. So everybody's hairline is different, and for me, if I part right underneath here, then I'll be able to knock off 1 and then 2 up in here and then 2 more here, if that makes sense. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, and 4. For my hair, I'm going to be using, as always, the free tress braiding hair. This one is in length 18, so it's only 18 inches. It's not very long at all. I don't really care about my braids being super long, so that's why I pick up the 18 pack. But if you want longer braids, go ahead and pick you up a longer pack of hair. I highly suggest this free tress braiding hair because you don't have to do the whole alkaline rinse or anything like that. This hair has never irritated my scalp or anything crazy, and it doesn't tangle very easy. Like, I used, I think, African Pride hair or something like that before. It was the green and yellow one. That one sucks. Like, it tangles way too quick, and you just don't want to use a hair like that, especially if you're a beginner and you never braided hair before. You really don't want to use a hair that's going to tangle very easily. So I highly suggest, if you can get the free tress braiding hair, to go ahead and get this one. It is pre-stretched, and I highly suggest that as well. I used to not really get pre-stretched braiding hair because I was like, what's the point? Like, I can just stretch it myself instead of paying the extra money. But it's not that big of a cost difference. Braiding hair is not very expensive at all. You just spend a little bit of extra money to go ahead and get you some pre-stretched hair. It'll save you a lot of time. So I had one pack right there, and then this is another pack. This is maybe like 3/4 of a bundle. I barely used anything out of this bundle. So yeah, we're gonna use this. Now, unlike most people, I don't use a lot of hair for some reason. I don't know why, but I do not use as much hair as other people use. But if you feel like it's not working out for you, go ahead and pick up more hair, because maybe I'm using like too little for you. I know that I kind of have thick hair anyway. And then on top of that, with doing a straight back, I don't want to put too much hair into the braid, because then it'll make my braid really fat and really bulky and it won't look neat. So you already don't want to use a lot of hair when you're going to do this hairstyle. But if I'm not using enough hair, go ahead and grab you some more hair. But I just find it easier to work with less, and it just always works out that way for me. I don't know why. So let me show y'all how I set up my hair. Okay, so what you're looking at is the cabinet for underneath my bathroom sink right here. I'm literally just right underneath the sink where I had first was standing in the mirror. So here's my braiding hair, and let me go ahead and show y'all what I'm gonna do. So I have my little cabinet right here open, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my hair and I'm gonna start separating it and throwing it on the cabinet. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna start with kind of a small piece of hair. We don't want anything too thick, especially at the beginning of the braid, because then it'll look off. So I'm just grabbing a small piece of hair, about that thick. Not thick at all, right? Kind of skinny piece. Then I'm gonna grab another one about that same thickness. And that's 3 pieces of hair that I have on here. I know it's kind of hard to see. Hopefully y'all can see it without any problems. Let me see what I can do here. I don't know if that helped, but that's 3 pieces of hair about the same thickness right here that I'm gonna use for the front of my braid. Then I'm gonna separate some hair a little bit thicker, and I'm gonna do 3 pieces of this as well. Not too thick, just like not even double, really, a little less than double what I had already separated out. And I'm gonna do 3 pieces of that. Okay, and then I'm just gonna set the rest of the hair back here. But now I've got 3 pieces of skinny hair here, and then 3 pieces of thicker hair for as I go down the braid. Okay, so that's how I do my hair. Very simple, nothing hard at all. For parting, so the first thing I'm gonna do, like I said, my hair is already moisturized, so I don't have to worry about that, is I'm going to go ahead and part out where I want my braid to be anyway. Naturally, at the back of your head, right at the nape of your head back here, it gets a little bit more narrow, obviously, than the top, and that's for generally everybody's head shape, right? So it gets more narrow in the back. When you're doing a straight back, you don't want to part to get into the nape of your neck, if that makes sense. You don't want to part into the nape of your neck, because all of your braids at the back will then be bunched up. Obviously you don't want to braid directly behind your ear and bothering you, but I would try to avoid, if you can, parting with your head, because then all your braids are going to be kind of bunched up, and you don't really want that. So I'm just getting my part together, and what I'm doing, instead of following my the shape of my hair, instead of following like my hairline, I'm basically just going straight back and down. So this braid is gonna come up right behind my ear and finish not even at the nape of my neck, right? So we haven't even hit the nape of my neck with that yet. It'll be a little bit before the nape. So I'm gonna go ahead and check with my mirrors just to see where I'm at and make sure that I like the parting space. It seems pretty good to me. So now I'm gonna go ahead and perfect it. So let me show you guys first what it's looking like over here. Okay, so hopefully you guys are able to see that. And I'm gonna get this clipped away. Clip this away. Okay, so like I said, I like the parting. It actually came out pretty good that first time. but the back is a little shifty. So I'm gonna go ahead and kind of fix this. Okay, so that part is good right there. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it like that. It's got a little bit of my nape in the back. So you can see right here, it's a little bit into my nape, but I went straight down. I didn't part sideways into my nape in order to get more of it, if that makes sense. So I only have like a small skinny piece right here of the nape of my neck. And then the majority of it is up here. It's a lot more wider up here. So hopefully that made sense for you guys. What I'm gonna do next is, I don't have any more Shine Jam, and if y'all watch any of my other videos, y'all know I'm not a huge fan of Shine Jam, but when I used it this past time to do my Ninos box braids, I actually did not mind it. I still didn't really like the smell, but I didn't mind using the Shine Jam. It actually kind of did help me out. But yeah, I don't have any more of it though. I used it all up. So what I do have though is I have Murray's beeswax, which is pretty good. But if you don't want to use beeswax, because obviously this has petroleum in it, you can use any edge control of your choice. Now I don't have the best choices on me right now, you guys. I'm not gonna lie, I don't have the best choices. But what I have are the beeswax, and then I have the edge booster. Y'all, don't come for me. I know that the edge booster has, what is it called? DM high tenoid, DM, yeah, it has DM in it. But it ain't never made my hair fall out. So hopefully it don't make my hair fall out right now, because this is like the only edge control that I have. I do suggest for the front of your braid to at least use some type of edge control, and then use the Murray's grease for the rest of your hair. But if you don't want to use edge control at all, if you're not scared of Murray's grease, go ahead and use that. Or you can use something else that is going to give you a little more grip. So I wouldn't suggest a gel, but I would suggest something a little stickier. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna go ahead and put the edge control on the front of my hair. And I'm not leaving out any baby hairs on the side, because I don't I don't think I have the right kind of sideburns for that type of baby hair. So I'm not leaving anything out right there. All of this is going straight back into my braid. So put the edge control on. And then I'm gonna take my little edge toothbrush and brush it in like that. Now, I'm gonna try to zoom in for you guys so that you guys can see what I'm doing here, because I think this will help you guys out a lot. But the first thing you want to do is you want to grab a small section at the front of your braid. I'm not doing stitch braids today just because I'm not like really good at stitch braids, to be honest. I could do it, but it takes a long time. And I don't even have nails on me right now to be able to do a stitch braid the proper way. Without pre-parting it, because that's going to be really hard to do if you're braiding on yourself. So we're just going to do regular braids. We have a thin section right up front right here, okay, and I'm taking this section and I'm going to part it into threes. So now that I have three, I have one here, one in the middle, and one here in between my middle finger and my ring finger. Okay, so I'm holding the first section with my left hand between my first finger and my thumb, the second section on my right hand before my first finger and my thumb, and this last and third section on my right hand between my middle finger and my ring finger. I'm just gonna cross this over. So the middle piece is at the front. The third piece is crossing over behind the middle piece. And I'm bringing my finger up in here so that I can grab the first piece, okay? And then your hands should naturally want to repeat the motion, but with your left hand. So grabbing a little bit of hair just with your opposite hand. So the first way that you did it, and then switching over. okay? Hopefully that made sense, because it's not easy to describe. But I'm gonna do it again for you guys. So I have piece 1 right here. And with piece 1, I'm holding my middle finger and my thumb, okay? Piece 2 is right here, and I'm holding this with my right hand in between my middle finger and my ring finger. And piece 3, which is on the bottom, it's in the middle right here, and I'm holding this with my first finger and my thumb of my right hand, okay? And I'm just crossing over. You don't have to grab a lot of hair when you do this, because your braid won't come out as flawless if you grab too much hair. So you don't want to grab too much hair as you go ahead and do this. But you also don't want to bunch up on yourself, because then it'll make your braid look sloppy. So I'm just going down. I didn't count how many plaits I did, but we're here now, okay? We're over here. So at this point, I'm only gonna go down a little bit further. I'm gonna grab a little bit more edge control on my fingers, and I'm gonna go down a little bit further because I'm gonna get ready to add some hair in to this braid. All right, now let me show you how to feed in. So I have my hair right here. I have a piece on top with my left hand that I'm holding in between my middle finger and my thumb, and then I have a piece on the bottom. The piece in the middle right is hanging loose, and then my third piece on the bottom I'm holding with my thumb of my left hand as well as the first finger on my left hand, okay? So hopefully y'all can see that. I'm taking the hair, the small piece, and I'm grabbing it. Let me make this a little more clear. I'm grabbing it with the first finger, just the first finger. Everything else stays where it is. Now, what I have is I have hair here on my middle piece and hair here on my bottom piece, okay? And I'm just going to continue braiding as if I never even stopped. Now I'm gonna grab some edge control, and I'm just gonna put it along the side right here, and also along the inside a little bit as well, to help keep this a little more neat. Now you don't want to bunch up on your hair, so as your hand moves to the back of your head, your hands are going to be used, like your arm's going to be used to being up here, but that will cause bunching. So you want to bring your arm back naturally with your hand into the flow of your head, okay? So I'm going to grab another piece of hair, and I'm going to feed this one in the same way. So I'm grabbing it with my first finger, and now that third piece has hair, or that middle piece, sorry. The middle piece and the third piece both have hair now. I'm gonna check my work. Now I'm getting towards the base of my neck, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab my third and final piece of hair, add a little bit of edge control, and I'm braiding all the way down until I get the last piece of hair on my scalp, if that makes sense. So the last piece of hair that's attached to my scalp. So I'm down now off of my scalp. I'm gonna turn my hands around. As you can see, this piece doesn't have any extra hair. So what I'm gonna do as I get closer to the bottom is I'm just gonna borrow. So I'm just gonna borrow from one of the braids that does have added hair. Like that. and continue to make my way down the braid. And I'm just grabbing a little bit of edge control as I go towards the base, where I get to where I'm not really having too much of my own natural hair. That's when I really want to grab whatever styling product I'm using, whatever holding product, so my edge control or my Murray's, and I want to add a little bit more so that I can make sure that as I'm braiding, that hair gets tucked in properly and it gets some products on it as well to keep its hold in that place and position. And now I'm just finishing it out. Obviously it's not a very thick braid, which is what I wanted. I don't want a super thick braid, and I don't mind it tapering at the end. And that's just my personal preference. If you want yours a little bit thicker, you can always add more hair right after you come off the scalp. But I wouldn't suggest adding like a bunch of hair into the actual braid itself, because then you'll end up having a super chunky braid. So if you want more thickness in your leftover braid, then I would suggest to go ahead and add more hair after you come off your scalp. Alright, so I'm gonna check my braid. It looks pretty good, so we're just gonna keep on going. Okay, so for this next braid, I'm going to use the 3 thicker pieces that I had took out, only because this braid is naturally going to be a little bit thicker than the braid on the end. So I'm going to use those 3 little thicker pieces, but I'm going to show you guys again and talk you through how to braid on yourself, okay? So I took out a little bit of baby hair, but not a lot, and I'm just grabbing some hair at the front. Okay, so I've got my front section, and what we're gonna do is break it into 3 pieces. Okay, so for piece one is with my left hand with my first finger and my thumb. Piece 2 is with my right hand with my first finger and my thumb, and piece 3 is with my left hand in between my middle finger and my third finger, but it's also being supported by my right thumb. Okay, so let me get up here to show you guys a little bit better. And I'm just crossing over with just my finger without the hair. Okay, I'm taking my first finger on my left hand without the hair, and I'm pulling that third piece through and behind the second piece. Then I'm taking my first finger again on my right hand though, and doing the same thing. I'm just taking my finger through so that I can pull this first piece. Okay, now I'm grabbing this loose hair right here with my left hand, and my fingers are just doing the same motion, just crossing over so that I can scoop up whatever's there, cross over and scoop up whatever's there. I'm just crossing over and scooping up what's there, and just continuing that pattern of crossing over and scooping up. I'm gonna grab a little bit of edge control, and I just have the edge control on my finger, and I'm just continuing to braid. Okay, so at this point I'm gonna go ahead and add some hair in, and I'm just putting it in so that the piece underneath, see me grabbing it, going in and grabbing that, and then the piece in the middle at the front also has added hair. And I'm just continuing to braid as if I never even stopped. Now you don't want to do this too loosely. Obviously you don't want to do it too tight because you don't want your braids super tight and like killing your skull. But you don't want to do it too loosely because then you might lose the hair. So you want to make sure that while you have a firm grip, you don't need to apply pressure, okay? You just need a firm grip as far as your fingers go. You don't really need to apply pressure to your actual scalp when you're braiding. That's gonna help you be able to get a neat braid without giving yourself a headache. So remember that. You don't need to apply pressure onto your head. You just need to have a firm grip. Okay. At this point, I'm gonna go ahead and add some more hair. Okay, so I'm grabbing some more edge control. I flipped my hands around already. And I'm just continuing to braid down. Now I'm gonna check my work because I didn't get to check it since I was braiding with y'all, but it looks good, y'all. Oh snap. That braid look good, y'all. Finally got to check my work and see it, but it looks really good. So hopefully those two walkthroughs were helpful for you and you guys were able to see it. For the next two braids, I'm just gonna go ahead and let you guys watch what I'm doing with my fingers. With this next one, this third one, I'm gonna do it the same way. So I'm gonna be doing it in the mirror and then zooming in for you guys so that you can see what I'm doing with my fingers. And then for the last one, I'm gonna spin back around and I'm gonna show you guys right in front of the camera so that you can kind of see and gauge what's going on. And then for the rest of my head, I'm just gonna speed through me braiding it. Now for this next braid, I'm gonna be feeding in 4 pieces of hair instead of just the 3. And then as I was parting out my 4th braid, one thing that I kind of realized was that you see how it kind of like is bowing in and it's getting narrow right here towards the front. I would have been able to avoid that if with this 3rd braid, instead of coming straight out to my head, I had curved it in a little bit, if that makes sense. But good to go. I'm gonna keep going because it doesn't really bother me that much. But if you had wanted your straight backs to be like straight backs, you would want to go with the curvature of your head as far as parting. So this braid right here would have curved a little bit, if that makes sense. Would have curved into the back of your head. Hopefully that made sense, but if not, girl, just keep braiding. And as you can see, I'm not taking out heavy baby hair, only because my baby hair will come out when I wash my hair, when I wash my face. So I'm not really concerned about bringing my baby hairs out. The ones that are truly baby hairs will come out whenever I wash my face. I don't like to do exaggerated baby hairs, but if you do, you definitely want to do that ahead of braiding your hair. Otherwise, it'll be hard for you to pull those baby hairs out later and you'll kind of mess up the braid. So if you do like exaggerated baby hair and you do like the little swirly twirly stuff, I would suggest bringing that out early. What I don't, it's not my style. If it's your style, that's cool, but it's not my style to part a straight line at the front of your hair and then use everything else for baby hair. I personally don't like that aesthetic, but if you do, go ahead and do that. And that's also something that you want to do way ahead of time before you even start parting. If you're gonna do it that way, you need to have parted out your baby hair like so. When I took out these two plaits on this side, that's when I would have parted out the front of my head, my baby hair, and I would have gone from the middle straight down to the side, and all of that that's out would have been baby hair, if that makes sense. And yeah, if you wanted baby hair, you would have just took them out prior to braiding, but I just like to let my my natural baby hairs come out whenever I'm washing my face. So that's why I'm not pulling out a lot, if that's why you're wondering. Okay, and now I'm gonna do my fourth and final braid on this side, but in order to perfect it, I need to take out these two plaits so I can go ahead and perfect my middle part. Okay, now for this next one, I actually went ahead and took out 5 pieces of hair. So I'm gonna put in 5 on this braid. Okay, so that is one whole side completed and done. This is what it looks like. Okay, it's kind of thin, as you can see. I didn't do these very thick. That wasn't my intention, just because I'm likely going to be either trimming these and wearing them down, or wearing them into like a little bun or something in the back. So if you did want it thicker though, you would just add extra hair once you get towards the base. But you don't want to add too much, so you want to feed it in so that the braid stays its thickness and it doesn't all of a sudden get super thick right here because you added in more hair, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, my natural hair, it stops like my hair getting long, y'all. No, but for real, my hair is getting long because my natural hair is in this area right here as far as the braids go, which I'm super excited about. Oh, and so let me tell y'all, I forgot, this is the whole reason, well, not the whole reason behind this video, but part of the reason behind this video was that I decided to skip my last trim. So I would have been due for a trim in February, but I had decided to go ahead and skip that one, and push all the way through to 3 years post relaxer, 3 years of growth, 2 years post my big chop, or 1 year post my big chop. So I went ahead and I decided to just speed through that little trim that I was supposed to do. So that trim that I was supposed to do in exchange for protective styles like this. So that's part of the reason why I'm doing this protective style, and I planned on doing protective styles almost back to back to back. I did have like a 2-3 week little pause in between my last braids and these, but yes, I did skip that little hair update, and my next one will just be in May for my 3 years of total growth. We gonna see where we at. We on this journey to waistline, so we gonna see how it's going off from there. But yeah, hopefully I was able to explain to you guys really good how to braid on yourself, how to cornrow on yourself. I really hope that it was helpful, because it's kind of hard to not only to teach people to braid when you can't see what their hands are doing, but it's also hard to teach people virtually through like a camera in a video. So hopefully I was able to give you guys a little more guidance on how to cornrow hair on yourself, and also how to do the feed-in process. Hopefully the footage came out good and everything is squared away, and you guys can get at least a little bit of, an idea of how better to braid your hair on yourself. But if you watched any of my other tutorials, you already know all I preach is practice and patience. You have to practice and you have to be patient with yourself, because you're doing this to yourself, for yourself. So be patient, be kind to yourself. If you can't get it off, then you just can't get it off. But if you can, get the braids and it's looking decent, practice, and then your next braid will come out better. So that's what I'm gonna leave y'all with. I'm gonna go ahead and speed through these other 4 braids, and then I'll see you guys at the end of the video. So that is it. I went ahead and put a little bit of styling mousse on my hair, and I dipped the ends a little bit. I didn't go too much with the ends, but I did dip them a little bit. But this is what it looks like. I think we did a really good job, you guys, especially on this side. I think we did a really good job. So yeah, that's the end of this video. Hopefully, like I said, it was helpful and you guys were able to follow along and kind of see how to do a cornrow braid on yourself. And yeah, so if you want to look for any other type of braiding tutorials, I do have them on my channel. I have knotless box braiding tutorials on there all over the place. I have parting tutorials and stuff like that. So I have all types of videos that can help you to do your hair yourself. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I was saying, with me skipping my trim this past February and going straight to May for the 3-year kind of anniversary, I'll probably leave this protective style in for at least a week. I'm gonna try to push it to 3 weeks, but at least a week or 2, maybe 3 weeks, I'll be able to keep this in. Today is Monday, March the 1st. So yeah, I'm gonna try to keep this in for at least 3 weeks, and then I'll go ahead and take this out, and then depending on how I'm feeling, either I will jump straight into another protective style, or I'll give it like a little break, blow dry my hair, wear it blow dried in like a little bun or something for a week or 2, and then go back into another protective style. And I'll probably be trying to do stuff like that up until May, when we're getting ready to do our little thing. So yeah, outside of that, I don't know what the next hairstyle is going to be. I think I want to do another braided ponytail, but maybe bigger braids like this size instead of the small ones that I did before. So I do think maybe I might look into doing another braided ponytail / braided bun type thing. And then after that, I'm going to be experimenting. I don't know if it'll be before my 3-year anniversary in May or after that, but I'm going to be experimenting with doing mini twists on myself, as well as doing mini braids on myself. So basically like knotless box braids without the extra hair. So braids on myself, and then mini twists with just my hair with no added hair. So I do want to try those hairstyles out just to see how they work, because if it's something that I can like live with for like 3 to 4 weeks, my hair being a mini twist and being able to style it decently, then I might be doing that for a good part of this 4th year. And then yeah, we're trying to see growth. So we can't be playing with our ends like that. We're trying to see growth. Obviously right now I'm not seeing a huge difference between where we are right now, which is about 2 years 9 months ish, from where we were at 2 years 6 months. I'm not seeing a whole bunch. I don't know if it's because the winter and my hair slowed down or what, but hopefully we'll see a lot of hair growth by May for the 3 years. And then year 4, if we are not down blah 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 down here, if we're not down here by year 4, something's going on. And I'm just wearing protective styles for a whole year straight, all the way up through to year 5, because I'm ready to hit this waist with this hair, okay? I'm ready for the big voluptuous hairstyles and all that. So if you guys are not subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe for the future hairstyles, and subscribe so that you can go back onto my channel and look at all the past hairstyles that we've done, look at the past hair journey, and then I'll see you guys in the next one.